Hello, I'm Dr. Chitty and welcome to Lifecolours, the programme that helps people to reverse, improve and prevent disease. Today we're going to be looking at the yellow life colour, which is autoimmune diseases. Autoimmune disease is our yellow life colour. Many people suffer with autoimmune disease, but let me just give you a bit of a history as to why we get it. Our bodies are constantly trying to defend themselves from invaders. Bacteria, viruses, all sorts of things are trying to get into our body to infect us. And we have our own very special army. The white blood cells act as soldiers that go around our bodies. They seek out and destroy anything that invades. And where are they made? They're all made in the bone marrow. And they then go off to form B cells. Those B cells can release things called antibodies. Antibodies are the things that will identify and help to destroy any foreign invaders. Some of those cells pass to the thymus gland, where they become T cells. And they are positioned in all sorts of areas around the body, like the tonsils, lymph glands, and Peyer's patches and the spleen. In the same way that a city becomes under attack from enemy fire, our bodies get under attack from invaders such as viruses and bacteria. Anytime they enter into our body, we pick it up and we want to destroy them. Our soldiers, those white blood cells, are specific for all of those different invaders. And here you can see some white blood cells that are attacking a foreign invader. Sometimes, however, that immune system goes wrong. Autoimmunity is friendly fire, and that is where the soldier on one side kills another soldier on the same side. That's obviously a tragedy in war, and it's a tragedy for our health. This can happen anywhere in the body. Every tissue that's available can come under friendly fire and produce all of these different diseases. Multiple sclerosis, inflammatory bowel disease, rheumatoid arthritis, vitiligo, type 1 diabetes. These are all the same illness, but in different parts of the body. They affect about 5% of the population. Women are 3 times more likely to get this disease than men. And especially if you are dark-skinned, you are more prone to get those diseases. And they're more prominent in the northern hemisphere. The big question has to be why? Well, let me give you a little background into what goes on. This is a picture of the small intestine, and this is it magnified. If you look at the small intestine close up, the lining looks like little finger projections. And they have this wonderful little single cell layer over each finger. That single cell layer is very important and is very clever. It's able to prevent things that you don't need coming into your body, but also able to absorb things that you need and bring them into your body. Now, as you digest your food normally, it passes through into the bloodstream and into all the tissues that you need. Unfortunately, sometimes small amounts of protein can remain in the intestine, especially milk protein. And on occasions where you have a leaky gut system, whereby maybe you're under stress or you're on medication or you have an infection, where those single cells start to come apart, those protein fragments can pass into the bloodstream. When they pass into the bloodstream, your immune system picks them up as foreign and starts to attack them. The difficulty is that many of those proteins that it attacks looks like much of our tissue. So instead of now just attacking those fragments, your body's immune system starts to attack you. And if those proteins look like the nervous system, your body will start to attack the nervous system, giving you multiple sclerosis. If it's in the pancreas, it will start to destroy the pancreas, such as in type 1 diabetes. Now, I remember some time ago there was a lady in London who was producing ice cream from her breast milk. I don't know if you ever tried it. Most people would say, no way, I'd never go anywhere near that stuff. And my question is, if you wouldn't take milk from a human being today, why do we take milk from cows? Actually, we're not designed to drink cow's milk. Cow's milk is designed to turn a little calf into a big cow. The only milk we should be drinking is our mother's breast milk. Think about this. When was the last time you saw an animal in the wild drinking milk from a different species of animal? And what about this? Have you ever seen an animal drinking milk into adulthood? The answer to both of them is no. And what is it that animals know that we don't know? What they know is that we should not be drinking milk into adulthood, and we shouldn't drink the milk of other animals because it causes all sorts of problems. In fact, we know that milk protein is one of the biggest stimulants for autoimmunity. But there's another factor, and it involves the sun and vitamin D3. If you look at this map of the world, all the places where there's lots of colour in the world, those are the places where there is lots of multiple sclerosis, which is one of the autoimmune diseases. Where it's dark or black, that means there's hardly any or no autoimmunity or no multiple sclerosis. The thing that you can see is that this line is the equator. And on the equator, in every country, there's hardly any multiple sclerosis. So that tells us that possibly the closer you get to the equator, the less risk you have of getting multiple sclerosis. In fact, we know that the highest incidence of multiple sclerosis is in Scotland, up in the north. So the factor that probably is causing this is the sun. And in fact, we know that to be true. The sun, when it touches our skin, makes vitamin D. And vitamin D does something we really don't understand, that it's able to boost the good immune system, which is the system that seeks out and destroys cancer, but it suppresses the bad immune system. That is the immune system that is attacking your own body, the autoimmune system, producing all of these diseases. There's another common factor in all of these diseases, and that is they are made much worse by stress. Usually people who have these diseases have either gone through a big stressful episode or they are under constant stress. And that can lead to the leaky gut, it can lead to the activation of more of those autoantibodies. So the main trigger factors are milk protein or animal protein, stress, and the lack of sunlight. So what can I do about it? The first thing you need to do is talk to your doctor. They may wish to start you on some medication urgently. But what we really want to do is reverse the autoimmune process, or at least stop it in its tracks. And this is how you do it. First of all, you have to avoid all dairy products completely. And when I say that, I don't just mean stop drinking milk and eating cheese. It means having to actively look at the ingredients on all of your foods and make sure there's no dairy products in it at all. It just takes a small amount of dairy to activate your immune system. Think of it like a vaccine. You only need a tiny little piece of vaccine to activate your entire immune system. So you have to stay well clear of dairy products. I also suggest that, especially in the early phase, that you avoid all animal protein and wheat protein as well. You also need to eliminate lots of the refined sugars and carbohydrates from your diet. They tend to wipe out your good immune system too. Stress management is key, as I've said, so you need to check out the Black Lifestyle Plan, which will reduce your stress levels. That's going to involve exercise, avoiding stressful stimuli. That's very important to keep that cortisol level, that stress hormone, under wraps. As with all of our Lifecolours, you need to enjoy a healthy, plant-rich diet. Lots of fruit and lots of vegetables. Also, you could add to that anti-inflammatory foods such as flax seeds, linseeds, turmeric. Those will help to decrease the amount of inflammation in your system. Try to get as much sun as you possibly can. I wish I could give you a prescription for a weekend in the Bahamas, but unfortunately I can't do that. But try to get as much sun as you can. Sometimes the illnesses will prevent you from going out in the sun, which is a shame. If that is the case, make sure you continue to take the high-dose vitamin D3. Most of us should be on high-dose vitamin D if we live anywhere in the Northern Hemisphere. But if you have any of these active illnesses, you must be on about 10 to 20,000 units per day. The yellow preventative lifestyle is like the dark yellow lifestyle, except as the antibodies reduce, you need to continue to avoid dairy products, but you can sometimes introduce certain meats like oily fish, like salmon. The anti-inflammatory foods you don't have to keep taking, but if you like them, continue. They're not going to do you any harm. And if you're no longer getting any symptoms, you can reduce the level of vitamin D3 to 10,000 units per day instead of 20,000 units per day. A key factor in autoimmunity is to try to live your life with joy. And what I mean by that is, if there are activities that you enjoy doing, make sure you do them often, especially if they're outdoors, obviously. And that will help you to prevent, improve, and reverse autoimmune diseases. That brings us to the end of the yellow life colour. I hope you've enjoyed it. That brings us to the end of the yellow life colour, autoimmunity. I hope it's helped you to reverse, improve, or prevent the disease. Now, if you want to know more information, please see my book, Lifecolours, or of course you can follow me on Twitter at Dr. Chidi 24/7. But until then, I hope you live your life with colour.